Welcome to the People's Voice Cafe. Welcome to Corona Night. I've been looking forward to this night for a long time. And welcome to both the people who are here and the people on the live stream. There's going to be a lot more people watching this than we're aware of here. And please keep your masks on unless you're performing or speaking. And how many people here have not heard Ray Corona perform in person? So, there's a few of you. Well, you are really in for a treat. Ray sang songs about every political and social issue you can imagine, but he did it with heart and he did it with humor. And he managed to be poignant and make you smile at the same time. And not too many people in the world can do that. I mean, that's like, a George Carlin type of thing. And so to have that kind of talent and have that way with words is just absolutely wonderful. And my name is Ken Gale. I am a host. I'm a host and producer of Ecologic on WBAI-FM. And they recently moved us to Saturday morning at 6 a.m. But every show is archived, and we link to it from our website, ecoradio.org, so you can still hear us, even if you don't want to get up at 6 in the morning on a Saturday. One of my co-hosts and co-producers is here, Donna Stein, sitting in the front row. And Sally Gellert, who's very good at finding good news to open up the show with. You think there isn't any good environmental news? Well, there is. Anyway, let's get right on to the music. The first song you're about to hear is Globalization Blues. This is with Jenny Amanda Hurwitz, Talbot Topcats, and their daughter, Sammy Rose Katz. They're politically progressive singer-songwriters and instrumentalists who perform subversive pop. And Globalization Blues was inspired by the large-scale demonstration of the late 90s and early 2000s in response to the terrible working and living conditions resulting from the race to the bottom by powerful global companies and their government friends. This song has been published in high school textbooks and in the US and Europe. Globalization Blues.
Okay, so there's going to be places where, if you wish, I hate when people order you to sing along. You don't have to sing along. If you liked, it'll save my messing up the guitar, which I'll do anyway, but while singing. And it's going to be like, the chorus is like... Globalization. And then you kind of respond, globalization. And then it goes to... Globalization. Globalization. And then it goes to... Globalization blues. And like Pete used to say, 3-part harmony if you want. There are no wrong notes. Right? Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
People bash jobs, smash globalization blues. You can't hide in your bed, you can't hide in your head. They'll run over you, you'll be worse off than dead. I'm talking globalization. Globalization. Drug dealing, money stealing, globalization.
Next up is Adele Rolliter. Actually, yeah, pretty much every person performing tonight has done solo acts here at People's Voice Cafe. Keep watching the peoplesvoicecafe.org website to keep up with what's going on. Adele Rolliter is a New York City singer-songwriter, a psychotherapist and music therapist, and she's the musical director of the New York City Raging Grannies. Here she is, Adele Rolliter. Oh, and she's got some wonderful accompaniment.
Surprise!
Barry and Ellen, all right.
So we're going to do a song of Ray's that is just a stark example of how painfully beautiful and beautifully painful Ray could write, both music and lyrics. And so it's about child labor. At this point, this is current statistics, 1 in every 10 children are subjected to child labor worldwide today, with some forced into hazardous work through trafficking. Economic hardship exacts a toll on millions of families worldwide, and in some places it comes at the price of a child's safety. This is We Will Have Dignity. I'm young, just in my teens. I make toys here in Thailand. The pig lady and the big ears mouse. You think this is fairyland, but the bosses are in your face. They push in yellow all day. They need more toys somewhere far away, and you can't live what they pay. But we will have dignity, tear down this misery. The world will hear our song, we're growing strong. One Monday afternoon, there were screams in the factory. The whole building consumed by flames, doors locked for security. In that cruel, cheap fire trap, 200 workers died. The broken toys and broken people strewn all over side by side. But we will have dignity, tear down this misery. The world will hear our song, we're growing strong. And we're fighting back, petitions and boycotts will carry us through. The world will know it's our world too. Across the seas of land, where these dogs find a family, and the children get to go to school. They don't work in a factory. There are unions that struggle for better pay and safety. They'll never rest until the day all people live in dignity. We will have dignity,
Del Rolliner. Up next is Joel Landy. Joel Landy is a good troublemaker and a fellow-style activist, singer-songwriter, parodist, and producer of Songs of Freedom TV. That's both online and on cable. He's also a member of the Ecologic Collective.
I am.
Joel Landy.
Oh, I gotta see over here? Okay. Is there a plug for me?
No, just play.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different then. All right. Suppose I should take this off.
You see, the rules here are here to protect people, but if you really don't want to wear a mask, you have to come up and sing. That's the deal. Well, I'd like to, this is a song that I am so glad that was available when the songs were handed out. You want to sing this one? You want to sing this one? I'm glad this one was available. Really, and it's the same one that I got to sing a few years ago at this Ray event. And I'd like to tell you that since that time, the song is irrelevant. But I'd like to tell you that some things are still rotten to the root. My job blew away. I can't work or retire. My pension account burned up in that fire. So I called my congressman, and here's what he said we could do. Give a bailout to the bankers, can't leave them destitute. Give each CEO a bonus and a golden parachute. And that will fix the system, unless it is rotten to the root. Now, I'm in default, and foreclosure is near. I've nowhere to go, and I can't stay here. And now my congressman has developed a new rescue plan. Give the rich another tax cut. Let the industries pollute. Drill the ocean beds for oil. Give tree huggers the boot. And that will fix a system, unless it is rotten to the root. Now, since rot at the root is so very rare, and we have the finest economic system in the world that you can buy anywhere, there's no reason for him to ever look there. A mob now has formed. We can't take any more. And now my congressman is running out his back door. And this time I bet I know exactly what he wants us to do. Pardon all the politicians. Oh, it's so mean to prosecute. Let them keep their jobs forever. Flush our country down the chute. And that will fix the system, unless it is rotten to the root. How can you fix a system unless it is rotten to the root. Ah, yes, but there is another verse. Would you like to hear it? And if there is a heaven, our friend Ray is playing there. Organize the best of angels, and they sing as they prepare. They're inviting us to join them, and here's what they think we should do. Participate and change the outcome, and keep your neighbors warm. That cloud forming above you, it's getting ready for a storm that will fix the system, because it's so rotten to the root. Mr. Ray?
Joel Landy.
Not only do you leave the stage, but you extricate yourself. There we go.
Must escape with the stage.
The usually stages are up, right? And before we go on with Lindsay,
Remember when you said that you
where is she? I want to thank the people doing sound. Yeah, you wouldn't hear anybody if they weren't here. So thank you to Dean and Bob and Dan. And also thank you for the people watching this on the live stream. You couldn't do it if we didn't have Maria Teresa running the live stream. Thank you. And Lindsay Wilson is a singer, songwriter, and guitarist who performs solo and with many different groups. She writes hopeful, socially conscious lyrics. She's also been a People's Voice sound engineer. Woo! Talk about sound engineers. Lindsay Wilson.
All right. All right. Okay. You got it. Yeah. This is a party. Hello, everyone. I told Ruthie, I said, you know, if I had a chance to meet Ray, I think we would be friends, good friends, and we would sing. We would sing together. I love his music because there's always something to learn from his music, you know. And also, everyone can sing along, just as, you know, Joel and everyone else has said, you know, he was telling us something, and he leaves a legacy, giving us what's going on in the world. He did it beforehand. So it's a blessing that we get a chance to sing his songs. So this song is called Common Ground. I think you all know it. If you hear the chorus, sing along, you know what to do. Do for Ray, because he knew what was going on. Been so many meetings to discuss what's wrong today. People always asking what to do anyway. We've got the best intentions, an idea or two. Too stressed, too busy, too few. If we're gonna stop the war planes, turn this world around for peace and social justice, we gotta find some common ground.
And a special thanks for the person who organized this whole concert and this whole night, Ruthie Indak. Ray's other half for how many decades that was. And an absolutely wonderful person and activist in her own right. And I was so happy to find out she was organizing another Ray Corona night. Give it up for Ruthie. Come on, everybody. And next up is Emma Graves. As a singer and songwriter and skincare herbalist, Emma is all about topical solutions. I didn't write that. She is a partner in the Brooklyn Herbarium and mother to Orion, who was 11, and Pablo, who was 8. Emma Graves.
And I need to just take the stool from back there.
Where is it?
It's right here.
I'll get it.
Thank
Let's
you.
start there.
Can you hear me here?
Yes.
All right. So when Ruthie asked me if I would join another song night for Ray here, I went through in my head so many different songs that I thought might be appropriate, or I thought would be funny, or I thought would be, you know, something to boost up the crowd. But then I started thinking about how when I was maybe about 15 years ago, and I was making an album, and actually probably, yeah, and going over there to record the album as often as I could. And this song, which is one of his that is just more of a sweet, lovely song, came to mind when I was kind of reminiscing. Sorry. And then I hope everyone wants to sing in along the chorus. See if I can teach it to you first. So the chorus goes like this. Won't you sing one song for me? I'd like to sing one for you. Soft as a snowflake, warm as a kiss, we'll see the sun shining through. Can you sing that with me? Won't you sing one song for me? I'd like to sing one for you. Soft as a snowflake, warm as a kiss, we'll see the sun shining through. Some nights the river's cold, icy blue. Some days it's green in the sun. Sometimes I feel such hope in the world. Sometimes I'm sure that we're done. Won't you sing one song for me? I'd like to sing one for you. Soft as a snowflake, warm as a kiss, we'll see the sun shining through. I've seen those who wander around for love. Guess I'll just do what I please. Won't you sing one song for me? I'd like to sing one for you. Soft as a snowflake, warm as a kiss. We'll see the sun shining through. May the stars and planets all glow, spinning their magic tonight. Let there be music loose in the world, good friends by sweet firelight. Won't you sing one song for me? I'd like to sing one for you. Soft as a snowflake, warm as a kiss, we'll see the sun shining through. Won't you sing one song for me? I'd like to sing one for you. Soft as a snowflake, warm as a kiss, we'll see the sun shining through.
Lydia Adams Davis is a recording artist hailing from the early days of family concerts with Pete Seeger and the Hudson River Sloop Singers. As a witty storyteller and activist singer, she has inspired children in uplifting groups by delivering outstanding improvised songs and historical ballads. Lydia Adams Davis.
Hi there. Hello. It is true that I'm one of those lucky ones. Knew Ray personally. I knew his fight for the people, fight for housing, fight for justice, fight for the environment, fight for honesty, fight for love, fight for integrity, fight for generosity, fight for gratitude. Fight when you don't have a breath left and you keep on fighting. Your songs will carry on even though you're not here to sing them. There has never been anyone more actively active that I have ever known than Ray Corona. And he loved Pete Seeger, and he sang with Pete. And he got to write a song about Pete, and I can tell you, Pete Seeger does not like people writing songs about him. So, one of these somewhat transparent melodies that kind of wanders different places. So let me try to get it right, and any correcting police, keep your mouth shut. Just shared before, except I can't remember, so I guess I better start with the verse. Sometimes the world can get you down with war and injustice everywhere, but you do all you can do and to help you make it through. There's nothing like a song you can share. Just pick some words people can repeat to add some rhythm. water's pure and clear. Don't let trash or toxins near. Then go out and sail with your friends. Just pick some words people can repeat. Add some rhythm. Tap your feet. Now find a part that makes your voice sound sweet. Now sing like Pete. Changing the world's a major job. Takes more than some people at the top. But through struggle, working hard, we will all each do our part. Keep singing, and don't you ever stop. Just talk words that people can repeat. Add some rhythm, snap your feet, and find a part that makes your voice sound sweet. Now sing like this. Yeah, take some words that people can repeat. Add some rhythm, tap your feet, and find a part that makes your voice sound sweet. Now sing like me.
Lydia Adams Davis. Sing like Ray. And you know, there are a lot of musicians and songwriters in this room right now, and so most of us know the power of music. But there was nobody better at putting it into words than Pete Seeger and Ray Corona. They were so just good. You understood why music is important to political and social struggle, and no one explained it better than them. And I remember one musician, I was asking them to come on. I had Ray on the radio for an hour talking about the power of music. In fact, Ruthie has it on the website. And I talked to another musician asking him, how about you come on and do that? And it was like, what did Ray say? What do you say? Because it's hard to put your heart into words. But Ray could do it. Ray could do it. And Mercy Van Black is next. Fan club here. She's a singer, a jewelry maker, and a baker. She's a member of the New York City Raging Grannies and an environmental activist. She's also a graphic artist, comic book illustrator, and writer. And she did the art for this t-shirt. The Ray Corona t-shirt that's up here, it's Mercy's art. And the next song, Free Harbors, is based on a protest against the Navy's desire to make New York Harbor a home port for battleships that had nuclear weapons on them. And I was part of the many people who was opposing that. And we had the Reagan administration against us, we had Senator D'Amato against us, we had the administration of New York City against us, and we beat them. And this song was definitely part of that struggle. It was a winner of the Mobilization for Survival Peace Song Contest, and unfortunately it's more relevant than ever because nuclear plants are being shelled in Ukraine and Russia threatens the use of nuclear weapons. So this song is more better. But here's Mercy Van Black with Free Harbors.
microphones. Hold on. There's a kitty. Oh. So the Raging Grannies were started by a group in Vancouver because there were nuclear ships in the harbor, and they didn't want that around their grandchildren, so they went in kayaks and sang their songs and protested. They did get rid of them. So this song always made me think of that as well. The ships roll out and the ships roll in. The sun shines on the harbor. They carry silk and chocolate creams and lost souls chasing dreams. But beware of the ships that would melt down the sea with bombs that can make all life cease. May our harbors all be free. May the waters always dance in peace. A boat sails out from the curving shore, a new world to discover, where flowers bloom way out on the blue that unknown islands grew. But beware of the ships that would melt down the sea with bombs that can make all life cease. May our harbors all be free. May the waters always dance in peace. The sea knows more than we think she knows, and her anger can be mighty. The continents will fall from her waves and dig the bombers' graves. So beware of the ships that would melt down the sea with bombs that can make all life cease. May our harbors all be free. May the waters always dance in peace. The ships roll out and the ships roll in. The sun shines on the harbor. They carry silk and chocolate creams and lost souls chasing dreams. But beware of the ships that would melt down the sea with bombs that can make all life cease. May our harbors all be free. May the waters always dance in peace. We love you, Ray. Thank you.
Mercy Van Glass. Up next is Ben Silver, a singer, songwriter, and teacher and performer of vocal improvisation. He's honored to be performing in this concert, and he'll be doing a full set May 6th here at People's Voice. There are flyers outside on the table. So pick one up.
So I'm hiding over here on your left by the piano.
We need light. Light. Let there be light.
Well, while we are waiting for light, I'll take off my glasses to be able to read this. So Ray's songs have a way of being timeless. In the past several months, a number of countries, including England, Israel, and especially France, have seen very strong social justice movements emerge, including general strikes, especially France, and they have been having success. In 1995, in France, it was President Chirac, and today it's President Macron who is hoping to be able to raise the age for pensions, Social Security, from 62 to 64. And so as what Ray had written about in 95, it is still quite alive, or again, alive and happening in France and many other parts of the world. This song is called Tous Ensemble, which means all together, and I would love it if people would sing all together. So I would stand up with this, but it's wrapped around him. So the lyrics are Tous Ensemble, and you don't have, if you don't pronounce the B-L-E at the end, that's fine. Tous Ensemble, Tous Ensemble, all together we will win. Say that part with me. Tous Ensemble, Tous Ensemble, all together we will win. And then Tous Ensemble, Tous Ensemble, we can win together. Tous Ensemble, Tous Ensemble, we can win together.
Together we will win. Tous ensemble, we can
all the singers and the Ray Corona Band and the Jets and Ray and Sharon and Mike and Lindsay. Thank you guys for coming up and singing this.
And Ben, come on out here. Where are you, Ben?
I'm right here.
Ben Silver. And you'll be hearing people's voice on May 6th with flyers outside. And next up is a guest set. And this is with Sharon Abreu and Mike Hurwitz, Sharon and Mike, currently living on Orcas Island in Washington State. Sharon loves playing fiddle in the Ray Corona Band. Does so whenever she's in New York. She's co-founder of Earthlings Art-Based Environmental Education with Mike Hurwitz. Sharon and Mike met at the People's Voice Cafe 25 years ago, almost to the day. And Mike's new book about his dad will be out on May 9th.
Thank you, Chad.
So Sharon and Mike.
And Sharon and Mike are also big fans of Ego Logic.
Yeah, Dean, so he's using my guitar.
Yeah, don't worry about it, I got it. It'll be on.
Hey. Hi, do I know you? Well, yes, it was 25 years ago. Not here, not in Judson Church, but diagonally across the street in the parish hall of what used to be the Washington Square United Methodist Church. And I saw this guy. We were doing the Corona Band concert, and I saw this guy standing in a field of empty chairs. And I went, what's with that guy? But Ray had said to me, oh, Sharon, you know, there's this guy, Michael Hurwitz, and he's coming to People's Voice, and he's volunteering, he's a singer-songwriter, and he's looking for somebody to do some backup guitar and some vocals for him. And Ray said, I told Michael, you know, Sharon would probably be great, but she's probably way too busy. And she was way too busy. But she happened to be coming into People's Voice one night when Ray was doing sound, and Sharon had to drop off a tape for Ray and run across town to 22 Below, if you remember that club. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so a few of us gathered around and we were chatting for a few minutes in People's Voice, including this guy here, Michael Hurwitz, inserted himself into the group, as he would say, right? And so we started talking, and we were trying to find a date to get together and couldn't find a date, so I said, look, why don't you come to a reunion concert, no, not a reunion concert, a CD release concert we were doing with Tony Ultimate. Ben Silver and I were singing on the CD for Tony Ultimate. I said, look, why don't you come to the CD release concert and we're all gonna go out to a diner afterwards, so it was like a non-date. You know, those great non-date things? So he came to the concert and we all went out, but before we went out though, we were like helping Tony bring stuff back into his house, you know, food and chairs and stuff. And it was this balmy May evening, and we walked out of Tony's house and leaned up against Tony's car and leaned up against each other and went like this. And that was it, you know, there was none of this, so are we having a serious relationship? Are we committed relationship?
It turned out we weren't.
But somehow 25 years have passed. How does that happen? And we happened to be at our home in Orcas Island, Washington, and I left Mike alone one day and he wrote a song. And he wrote this song called
Economology, or the economy depends on the ecology.
1, 2, 3, 4.
ecology. Many years back in old Iraq, agriculture was invented. Population increase, cut down all the trees, now that place a desert. The economy depends on the ecology. Economy depends on the ecology. From the land and sea come prosperity. The economy depends on the ecology.
You and me?
See, you and me are the economy, and we depend on the ecology. If the world isn't healthy, neither will we be. Economy depends on the ecology.
Love Canal?
There was a place called Love Canal. People had a work aplenty, but a factory man put poison in the land, and now that town is empty. The factory depends on the ecology. The factory depends on the ecology. Don't poison the land, Mr. Factory Man. The economy depends on the ecology. I don't think war will solve a problem. It's only bring devastation. Let's stay home and take care of our own land, and we will have a stronger nation. Democracy depends on the ecology. Freedom depends on the ecology. Your side, my side, everybody. Everything depends on the ecology. University depends on the ecology. The coffee house depends on the ecology. Baseball, football, democracy, everything depends on the ecology. You and me depend on the ecology. She and he depend on the ecology. All of we depend on the ecology. It's a lesson that is dawning on humanity.
Hey, I think we might have to. Will this reach, or is this on the end of its tether? Oh!
Or am I on the end of my tether? Okay.
This is the excitement part of the show. What we'll go over next.
I think that might go.
Is that good?
Is that going to work?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. So this is a song
Is the eyes not working?
that Sharon wrote.
No, DI?
Oh, I see. Okay. This is a song that Sharon wrote. I think Dennis Kucinich originally came up with this idea. We have a war room. Why don't we have a peace room?
Yeah. Hey, if you want to know, Dennis Kucinich recently started doing a, what do you call it? A blog. It's not really a blog. Substack. A what? Substack. A Substack, yes. He just started it a few weeks ago, and I subscribed to it right away. But I heard Dennis, I guess probably about 2012 or whatever, he was describing this concept of a peace room, and we really, how are we going to do this? How are we going to have a sustainable planet and a sustainable economy unless we learn how to have peace? I don't know, haven't figured that out yet. But I loved his description of a peace room being at least as important as a war room. And so it's a room, it's a room, and yet it's not a room.
Maybe we can all be in a peace room for a few minutes right here.
When the wars have left us broken in a world of greed and fear, when we've reached our end and we have to mend, there's a place and it's right here for peace to heal our spirits. Oh yes, we'll be there soon. A living place, a healing space, step inside. one. And we have some flyers on the table outside and some CDs.
Janet Brayu and Mark Hurwitz. I want to give another shout out to our sound folks, Dean, Bob, and Dan. You wouldn't hear anything without them. And thank you to Maria Teresa for the live stream. Those of you watching are really grateful to Maria Teresa that you can watch this concert. And we're going to have a short break. It's only going to be 10 minutes, so there won't be time to get your name legally changed, as Sean Norton would say. During the break, you can buy CDs, T-shirts, like this one. And sign the mailing list for the People's Voice Cafe. Look at flyers, such as this one. You can become a volunteer. You can become a member of the People's Voice Cafe. And if you pick up a flyer for this concert, you'll be able to remember who the performers were weeks and months and years from now. And for the in-person audience, BBC has a Change for Change jar. Any amount helps. We lost a lot of money last fall, which you'll hear more about later, and are still trying to make it up. And for those online, tips are very welcome and go entirely to the performers. So see you in about 10 minutes.
Yes, it'll be very, very concise. Right.
First of all, let's thank Judson Memorial Church for hosting this concert and hosting People's Voice Cafe. And also let's thank the Folk Music Society of New York, the Puffin Foundation, and the Community Church of New York, Unitarian Universalists, for their generosity in supporting People's Voice Cafe. And of course, we can't thank the volunteers enough for all the wonderful work they do. And I don't know all their names. I know there's Martha's out there, I know Sally's out there, and Marilyn and Steve.
I'll get all their names and Kendall.
Tonight, my only thing I'm doing is reading one announcement.
Anyway, and you can become a volunteer yourself. There's a sign-up sheet out there. They especially need sound, live streaming, and publicity help. And you can get a flyer for the rest of the shows of the season out there. And one important announcement that Steve Suffolk is going to give us.
I do not want to trip over these wires, so.
Do not trip.
No, they don't want to trip. We're having a good time, and this is actually a fairly serious message. Last September, around September 29th to be exact, someone managed to steal the identity of a member of the People's Voice Cafe Collective, and using that identity was then able to access that person's bank account and some other financial assets, including the People's Voice Cafe bank account. And they withdrew $24,000 from it. That represented almost all of the assets that we had. It was a cushion that we had built up to get us through difficult times. For a while it looked very hairy. We weren't sure if we would make it at all. But fortunately we had a GoFundMe campaign. And so far we've raised over $8,000 from that. And we've received over $3,000 outside of the GoFundMe campaign. So altogether we've received close to $12,000 in contributions, which means we're out of any immediate danger. However, and this is the big however, our long-term prospects are still doubtful because that was money we needed, and our usual business plan, if I could call it that, was most of our concerts lost money. But we'd have a few big ones every year. We would get Holly Near or Emma's Revolution or David Amram or the Brooklyn Women's Chorus, and the place would be packed. And if we did that 2 or 3 times a season, it carried us through. Because this space is smaller, and even with the smaller space, because of the pandemic, we put on a self-imposed limit of 70 people. We just do not have the option of having the big nights anymore. So what we are having is a couple of fundraisers. The first one is going to be next week, April 24th. And 4 people who are wonderful artists have volunteered their time and talent to help us. And those are Marielle Cancel-Begay, Bev Grant, Carol Ann Solabello, Charlie King, and Lindsay Wilson, who you saw here tonight. Whether you come in person or whether you participate as our online audience, next week particularly, come, give what you can. Once again, admission is by voluntary contribution, so if all you can afford is $1 or $2, that's fine. If you could afford the $12 or the $20, that's great. And if you could afford something above that, that would really, really be wonderful, because it will help us try to make up for that missing $12,000. And basically, that's all I have to say right now. So enjoy the rest of the show, and please come next week as well.
Thank you, Steve Sutton. And while we're thanking the volunteers and thanking the sound people, we want to especially thank Ruthie Indyk for organizing this wonderful. And Bracha wants to do a little extra.
This is going to be very quick but very necessary. I just wanted to say that we don't often see all the behind-the-scenes work that's involved in getting things together. And one person that's been steadfastly coordinating publicity, as well as being involved in a wide variety of things, including coordinating every year that we've had it, the tribute to Ray Corona, is Ray's life partner, Ruthie Indyk. That you are an amazing person that is a real role model for anyone who would like to volunteer at People's Voice Cafe. This is the way to do it. It's a bittersweet time, that it's a lot of love that went into this, but it's also a challenging night. So we want to particularly thank you for putting your all into it every time.
And next up is the Ray Corona Band. Ivis is a longtime Ray Corona Band member on vocals and dulcimers. She sang with the Oratorio Society of New York for 12 years. She is part of the Ivy and Miranda duo. She booked People's Voice Cafe for 15 years. Larry Kornhauser is a Ray Corona Band member, playing guitar, cello, and bass, and writing arrangements. He has performed solo and accompanies many musical groups. Many doesn't really fit. I think maybe hundreds?
A multitude.
I mean, I sometimes think he's sort of the dad of the Ray Corona Band.
This is Barry. Yes, you can play that part. Yes, you can play that part.
Yes, you will play that part.
See? Ellen Davidson is a Ray Corona Band member. She's on vocals. She's a photojournalist and a multi-issue activist with Veterans for Peace and The Independent. Gina Thompson, Ray Corona Band member, vocals, flute, fiddle, keyboards, and more. Shannon Abreu, singer-songwriter, plays fiddle and guitar. Ray Corona band member and works with Michael Hurwitz in their organization Earthlings Arts-Based Environmental Education. And augmenting the band this evening, Laura Lieben works with and composes for Gamelan Son of Lion, loves doing music for theater, and is a music teacher working with young children. Happy to play with Ray's old band. And Chris Old Dude Owens is a father, musician, songwriter, producer, social justice seeker, and PBC member. And the first song you're doing is Vision of Peace, a beautiful song and possibly based on a vision of Ray's. Vision of Peace.
One, two, three, come.
You
The next song is probably my favorite Ray Corona song, if I have to have one. It's Listen to the Earth. I play 30 seconds of it on every single episode of Ecologic, and I've been doing that for years. And now you have to be up at 6 in the morning on a Saturday to hear it, but at any rate, it's neat because it talks about good energy sources and bad energy sources, and he compares them and explains how one is the solution to the other. It's absolutely wonderful. Listen to the earth.
So I just want to add a little bit to that because Mercy made me think of this when she was talking about the kayaks that went out to stop the nuclear boats. And on the back of my t-shirt is the Golden Rule, which is the original peace boat that in the 1950s went out, tried to sail to the Marshall Islands to stop above ground nuclear testing. The crew was arrested and they never made it, but the protests around it helped to spur the test ban treaty. And the Golden Rule is still out there. It's been refurbished and it's going around sailing against nuclear weapons and nuclear power, and it's coming to New York May 20th. So go to VSP, which stands for Veterans for Peace, VSPGoldenRuleProject.org to find out where you can go to see the boat and events to talk about its mission and all of our mission to save us from nuclear catastrophe.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Did they
And by the way, there's a website, raycorona.com. Real simple website, raycorona.com. It's got lyrics, it's got music, it's got interviews with Ray, it's got a lot of wonderful material. You can spend a lot of time having a lot of fun on raycorona.com. And if you don't know how to spell it, his name is like all over. Next song is Ballad of Joe Homeless. Julie Weiner, who, is she in the audience today?
She couldn't make it to Carver.
She met a homeless man named Joe on the subway. Moved by his story, which he had extensively documented, she invited him to live in her home. Ray's song was inspired by Joe's experiences.
This is probably my favorite song of Ray's, of the many to choose from. And I just want to mention very briefly how many of the homeless are veterans. It's really a shame. It's really, really disgraceful.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
There's a million miles of concrete
Ballad of Joe Homeless. And Fran Luck, also WBAI, just told me that Ruby Klingman wrote an opera about Joe Homeless.
Yes. It was told only a few times, then the cast dispersed, and damn it, I'm gonna find that thing. It was a wonderful song.
And next song is Song for a Potter, most likely written with two different Potter friends in mind. Ray loved pottery made by Rana Texador and Susan Contento and bought quite a few of their pieces for home and for gifts. Song for a Potter.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
I started out, the road seemed clear, nothing could go wrong. Then came the night, left me alone, with nothing but a song. I'd like to know, can music show I use my hands to shape and build out of what I found. Now each day brings me beautiful things spreading all around. Do you think that our work can lead us Soon I found friends, especially you, moving the same way. When we looked up, we saw such stars, it felt like it was day. My heart told me, this course is true.
Song for a Potter. In the past decade, the global refugee crisis has more than doubled in scope. In 2022, the UNHCR announced that we had surpassed the 100 million mark for total displacement, meaning that over 1.2% of the global population have been forced to leave their homes. And here's a song Ray wrote about that called Displaced.
1, 2, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Ruthie and I were trying to figure out what to say about this next song, The Power of Love and Light. Ray had so many different ways of writing music and so many styles, and it would fit the style with what he was trying to say in the music. And this one is an emotional and spiritual type of song. And so let the song speak for itself, The Power of Love and Light.
One, two, three, four, 1, 2.
Try to understand, or just play dumb and cute.
This next song, The People Are in Charge, is the title track of one of Ray's CDs. It's available in the hallway. And it's inspired by massive protests surrounding the World Trade Organization conference of 1999 in Seattle. You guys might remember the Battle of Seattle. The protests were against the devastating effects of corporate globalization on labor here and abroad and on the environment. And in April 2000, similar protests took place in Washington, D.C., involving raids of activist headquarters and mass arrests of activists and some journalists. Probably archivists too. Activists and some journalists. So the people are in charge.
Gotta watch those archivists.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to do it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Private jets are touching down, some badass dudes coming in town. They like money, guns, and chauffeur cars. They don't like singers with folk guitars. Press and PR, the exit team's amazing. Spins tours, all the teams. We've got puppets, half of killer art. Let's come down when the meeting starts. Money, the money buys lives. Love ears and eyes are numbers. Our voting for people are in charge. The people are in
I know, I just had a big word. Signs and puppets cause offense. The cops smash them up in self-defense. If you get hit when the clubs come out, you won't visit with arrest, no doubt. 5 days wait for court in jail or $60,000 bail. That's $500 an hour. They know the value of people's power.
The money buys lives. People have ears and eyes. Our numbers are growing far. People are in charge. The people are in
Corporate press asks why we're here. Let's miss our signs and every cheer. Some students, clergy, socialists, labor unions, and ecologists. Here's the hot news, flash for you, the slow to get it. Privileged few. Everybody must be free. The land was made for you and me.
The money buys lives. The people have ears and eyes. Our numbers are growing far. People are in charge. The people are in charge. The money buys lives. People have ears and eyes. Our numbers are growing far. People are in charge. The people are in
Take that song home. Okay. While copies last. And this last song is about the People's Voice Cafe. So, all the performers, come on up. All the volunteers,
somewhere.
come on up.
Up here somewhere.
Yeah, find a space. Stand on better shoulders.
Sit on my lap. Oh wait, I'm standing up.
I get to do the cut.
Sit on my lap.
I guess I meant it.
Hang on, stand back, because there's going to be some like
Poke somebody's eye out.
slightly dangerous. Worry about it.
Okay, we leave some bowl room for Sharon.
Leave bowl room for Sharon, or you might get the little
Stick, look out.
I need a, give us space, I need
Stand by Barry. He said stand by Barry. I don't know.
You guys can use my mic. You guys can just kind of use my mic. I never know that I was going to say,
Like the fiddle though.
oh, sure. No, I haven't. Never mind.
Forgot about that. No, but yeah, there's nothing.
Okay.
Last piece. All right.
At least I'll be.
Oh, that's right.